Hello and welcome to the daily market recap. Today is 27th of August. That's Tuesday. So, just like yesterday, we will be going over a couple of concepts, six concepts in total for today's market recap. We'll talk about previous day high, previous day low. We'll talk about open high low close, open low high close, and the power of three. We'll discuss times, fair value gaps, SMT, and we'll touch base on standard deviation. So, my thought process going into today, that is Tuesday. This is the green candle that was printed today. Essentially, I was looking for the low of Monday to be engaged. Why? Because if you look at Friday's candle, which is this green up close candle, you have Friday's high, you have Friday's low, and you saw on Monday we raided the Friday's low and we closed below the Friday's low. Because of that, I was overall bearish and I wanted to see the low of Monday to be taken. I was not expecting the high of Monday to be taken, and there is a reason why. Let's go back to the weekly chart. In the weekly chart, this is the current week, which is the black candle. This candle is still in formation because the week is currently ongoing. But if you look at it, we did engage into the weekly busy, which is buy side imbalance, sell side inefficiency. On Monday, we raided into this weekly busy. However, I was expecting price continue to head lower throughout at least today in the week, because if we go to the daily chart again, you can see that we have a daily busy as well, which is this one. On Monday, we tapped into this weekly busy, which is weekly fair value gap. However, we did not engage the daily busy. So going into today, my draw on liquidity was this daily BC. I wanted to see the daily BC getting engaged, and then depending on the reaction, we could say that probably we'll head lower into this discounted BC, or we might start expanding higher. But overall, going into today, my thought process was we were planning to take the Monday's low and tap into the daily busy, which we did. Now let's go to the 4-hour chart. This is Friday's high and Friday's low. This is the candle. We saw on Monday this Friday low was engaged. We tapped into the weekly busy. We moved higher. This down close candle that we saw, which is the 6 a.m. 4-hour candle, today it engaged the daily busy and we saw an immediate reaction back up. This reaction is important because when something like this happens, when we fail to validate this order block, because remember these up close candles that we have, these 4 up close candles, that can only be validated if we aggressively close below the beginning of this up close candles, which we failed to do, which means that these 4 up close candles are now not the valid order block. So after that happened, my next thought process was probably we are going to engage the high of the 6 a.m. 4-hour candle. So let's go down to our 15-minute. I have already made the markings because remember we start with like previous day high, previous day low, and then we'll talk about the open high, low close, and we think about like power of three. whenever we think about power of 3, we have to think about the times as well. So let's talk about the times. This candle, this is where the 6 p.m. open happened, which is our daily open. Price moved down, then started heading upwards. Right at this point, this is your daily open or your midnight open, which is the 12 a.m. Price continue heading higher. Okay, so all this price action from your daily open, which is 6 p.m., going into your midnight open, going higher until like 4. Remember, the same thing happened yesterday as well. This was all the manipulation that we wanted. Suddenly, around 6 a.m., beginning of the 4-hour candle, we saw a massive push down. We had a change in state of delivery, right? When this happened, my thought process was, okay, this was the manipulation leg that happened during the London session. Because of this manipulation leg, we can use standard deviation to calculate where the price can expand. Our areas are always -2 to 2.5, and this overlaps with the daily BC. So my plan was to take a trade and target the daily BC because that's where our drawn liquidity is for today. We moved lower right at this PM, which is 7, this point of time, which is 7:30. We technically have a 2022 model, a fair value gap, which is a 15-minute CB. Price tapped into it to head lower. Obviously, I personally do not trade at 7:30. I wait for market open, the New York Stock Exchange market open, which happens at 9:30. But this was an entry if you were available at the time. Anyways, price started moving lower. So here's the thing, like we discussed yesterday. 6 p.m. price moved higher. Midnight price continued to move higher. So when we are above midnight open as well as a daily open, this is a good area where we can plan for shorts because you are now in the premium area of the range. We came down, tapped into this CB around 7:30 New York time. Then we started continuing lower. Once we closed aggressively this down close candle, this validated this as an order block, which is a 15-minute order block. Now, if the price plans on moving, I just want to make sure that the mean threshold of this order block is respected so that we can continue lower. Price didn't tap into this order block, price continued lower. Right at 9 a.m., we were very close to reaching our target. Okay, so I moved into 5-minute chart because I need to go lower just to see if we have CBs that are getting created for our entry. Going into the 5-minute chart, you can see right at this point, we have one CB that was created. And there was one more CB that was created here. This CB overlapped with our daily open, which is 6 p.m. open. And this CB was overlapping with our weekly BC. We came down right around 9:15. We started heading higher. We continued heading higher till 9:25. Now at this point in time, I was expecting price to move a little bit higher and then continue lower. This would have been a perfect entry. In fact, I took this entry myself in this busy. I did not go heavy on position because you do not know whether the price will engage this BC or not. Since there were like 3 BCs that were created, there is a one small BC here. So it would have been nice to add one contract here, probably scale in a little bit more contracts, and then have a stop loss right at the top of this SIBI. Anyways, we tapped in right here and then price continued lower. Right at this point in time, we saw market tap into this daily BC, which should have been your target, and price aggressively moved higher. Due to this aggressive reaction, you can see the 4-hour candle which I have added here on the side. You can see it was a large candle before, but right at 9:45 price started aggressively pulling back. Now at 10 a.m. 4-hour candle closes, so this immediate reaction gave me a little bit of confirmation that price does not want to move more than 2 to 2.5 standard deviations. Remember, we spoke yesterday that if the price aggressively closes below minus 2.5, then we can expect price to continue moving lower to hit the minus 4 max expansion. However, price just tapped into it, immediately pull back, and I was expecting price to now move higher. So our draw on liquidity for today was met, and then price reacted higher. We had, if we go on a 15-minute, we had a change in state of delivery as well as market structure shift right at this point. We moved higher and then came back, and right now we are respecting this 15-minute busy. So going into tomorrow, what I would like to see is, if we go back to our 4-hour, I really would like to see a closure above this fair value gap. If that happens, then we know that price is going to tap into this fair value gap, and if it closes here above the fair value gap, then we know that the next draw on liquidity will be the previous day high, that is Monday's high. So my thought process right now, since we have a change in state of delivery as well as market structure shift on the 1 hour, I really want to see expansion higher. Also, when we move to our daily chart, here Monday had a down close candle. Tuesday we did tap into busy. However, we did not close below previous day's low. So if you look at this green candle, even though we tapped into the daily BC, we still pulled back and failed to close below Monday's low. So now I'm expecting, going into Wednesday, that the price will engage the high of Tuesday, that is today's high, and then we can expect price to head higher and potentially engage Monday's high as well. And then overall drawn liquidity for the week would be the high of last Thursday. But I really want to see price move in the bullish direction now. However, if price reverses and goes deep into this daily busy, then we might continue lower. But ideally, we shouldn't engage the daily busy again. For Wednesday, I think the price will engage the high of Tuesday and try to expand higher. Alright, that was the daily market recap for today. If you have any questions, do let me know. Alright, take care. Bye.